Howdy, my homies. It is James Finnerty here with Rewind Electric again, and we're going to continue on our quest of opening the mail. Probably have another pedal of some sorts for the upcoming classic, vintage, etc. types of pedals shootouts that I'm doing. Got some recent heavy hitters here on the bench. MXR analog delay. I don't know the year, but this is an first edition. You'll notice it's not stereo, it's mono. MXR Flanger, this is the Reticon, also an early edition. We've got the DOD 680, also, as far as I know, the first edition with the cursive script. Not common to see. It's not common to see these at all, but when you do, typically they don't have that cursive script. They're more block lettering there. Okay. DOD Overdrive Preamp 250. This is a 1980s, and it's got a it's got an IC in it, a Texas Instruments one, not the one that people go bonkers for. I think you guys know what this is. Come on, Triangle Big Muff, and then two genuine, real deal, patent applied for pickups here. Two PAFs for you. Dig that? You want to check the details here? Let's get some close-ups. Look at that. That is the realio dealio. It's good stuff, huh? Good stuff. Now they do have replaced hookup leads. That's why they're here. Okay. Enough of that. Let's clear some of these absolute juggernauts of pedal history off the bench. I'm going to set these two aside because I think we might be revisiting them very soon. And let's crack into the mail. Let's do this one first, because I don't think it's a pedal unless it's like a Morley wah that's been flat packed IKEA style. In that case, maybe it is a pedal. I need to change this blade. Bear with me. This is what I do. You might have a different technique. But that gives just a little bit of extra protection there. And then I throw this in a sharps container. I'll show you my blades of choice too, if I can get them out. I'm actually not terribly brand specific. I just try to buy some American made ones. And these are manufactured in the USA by LDL Techni-Edge in 2012. So usually when you're buying American blades, you're not buying something new, you're buying something new old stock. I also like Swiss and Japanese blades, but I don't know of, look how nice that cuts. I don't know of any for Exacto knives. I'm sure they're out there. Oh, I know what this is. This got here fast. Look at this. This is going to be so cool. Man, no. Dinged up on the corner there. Not thrilled about that. It was a fairly expensive book. But I bought it for the content, not the cover, you know. So Rolling Stones gear, all the Stones instruments from stage to studio. This was a recommendation from a friend, and we've recommended books to each other in the past and never been disappointed with his recommendations. So look at that burst. Oh, the Bigsby. It looks so nice. Look at the color of the pickup rings on that. These photos are often blown out and really, really light looking, so the plastics look whiter than they are. That's a good photo. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I am going to flip through it real quick. Let's just see if they open with anything really strong. Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. I would say so. Jimmy Reed, yeah. They're opening with things that are strong. But where's the gear? Oh. Here we go. Yeah, this looks cool. Ooh. Wow. Decca. What kind of gear are we talking about here? It's a record label, of course. All right, yeah. I'm not going to show the whole book and go through that now because it's not what you're here for. So, let's open some mail. I need a stinger and a little, like, musical tune for opening the mail. It's time to open the mail. Just make a new one up every week. Oh, I see something I recognize in there. And I did not remember that it included the box. But it does. Okay, let's gently get this out. Okay, you might recognize that logo from here or here. It's the old DOD. They don't call that the 3D logo, although it is 3D. I don't know what you call it. It's like a shadow logo. You'll notice this box says second on it. And so I thought for a little bit that the contents might have been a second. And I was like, they didn't make pedals that were seconds and sell them. Nor did they mark the box like that. So what I think it happened is that I think either a store had two of these, and so one box was first and one was second, or maybe a musician had two of these, and this was the backup, the second. But somebody cared for it. They taped the box back up as it got loose. I might do a little bit more of that. 670 foot Flanger. Part of that tag came off, but it looks like somebody cut it so that it wouldn't keep coming off. Salt Lake City, Utah, USA, my state and country. Not my city. But that is cool. Never heard one. I wasn't even really all that familiar with these big box DOD pedals until I got the delay, looking for classic analog delays. This is wobbly. I think it's missing a foot. It is. While we're here on the back, nice DOD case. DOD Electronics, Salt Lake City, Utah. Does the delay say that? Nah, the sticker's gone. But it is the same box and that same kind of paint. What do you call this paint? Where there's like shiny spots and flat spots. It's a paint that I see in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, mostly 70s. A lot and not anymore. What do you call that? It's not really a wrinkle finish. It's not a hammered finish. I'm familiar with those. This is something else. It's like splattery. This is a serious zip tie. Like, you could hold some weight on that. Grounded cord. That's nice. I don't have to replace it. Something's loose in there. Well, you know the rules, so let's get a close-up of it here. You guys can get a good look. And then we'll crack into it. This is really clean. There were 2 available. The other one had more chipping in the paint. This one only has a little bit right there and right there. And this one had the box. So I was inclined to pay a little bit more and get this one. Yeah. In and out. It's not stereo. Although it's turning out to be the case that most of the stereo modulation effects of the 70s are not actually stereo. They're just one output is out of phase for another, which is just part, that's just a built-in feature of the op amps they're using. I thought that Ibanez bi-mode stereo chorus was going to actually be one CE2 on one side and the other on the other in stereo mode, and it wasn't. But since there's a hole drilled in that case, there's an extra hole in that Ibanez pedal, if you saw the video, that I just overlooked. Like, it was in the photos and the description. I just overlooked it. That is entirely on me. But kind of like a Marshall in a master volume mod, like, once there's a hole drilled, there's no harm in taking advantage of it. I wouldn't drill the hole myself, but somebody else did. So it's got me thinking, can I put a switch there so as to make it operate with one CE2 on the left and another one on the right with independent settings? What would be really cool is to have it do that and then put a pot on it, which was a width control, so that all the way counterclockwise you were mono, you were getting the same thing out both, and then all the way fully clockwise you were full stereo, getting only one chorus on one side and only one chorus on the other. Listen to that. Oh, it sounded nice coming off. Thought I had a tone. It does if you take it off like that. Check that out. Why does it do that? But then, all right, I guess it's there. Tone aluminum cases. Alrighty, let's have a look at this guy here. So, what we've got is a series of CTS pots from 1980, 1980, 1980, 1980. We've got mains going straight to an AC switch with some spider webs. And how is that wired up? Okay. Ground goes to the chassis. Loosely. Oh, on a rivet. Oh, come on now. I can't feel too good about that. It's just riveted. All right. I might have to solder that onto this cast aluminum chassis with orange overspray. Well, I'm going to check continuity, and I'm sure it's good enough for testing. It feels... It was loose when I pulled it forward, but pushing it back, it became firm. I'm not going to leave it like that, though. All right, moving on. There is a dated stamp here. Can we see that? It says November 21st, 1980. Cool. So this was made like right before Thanksgiving vacation. Whoever made it probably was thinking about their family and not about this pedal, thinking about their upcoming travel, getting out of the office early, Hopefully it's hopefully it works. All right. Okay. I keep seeing that S. Sometimes it's SGS, but I think it's the same S on these ICs in different modulation pedals. Somebody tell me what that is. This here says SAD512D, and I know that that's a Redicon chip, which makes me very happy. This is a Texas Instruments LM324N. I don't know what that means. It's probably a handful of op amps. And at the bottom here, we have another one of some sort, which is, let's see. It's hard for me to read that, but it looks like it's a CD 4001 BCN MM56018N. Yep, all right. It's that, whatever that is. Cool little Pyre trim pot over here. See those? Pyre was a Spanish company at the time, I believe. You see those a lot on like Marshall Vox type stuff, English gear. Not so much on US. Does it even say Spain on it? Let's see. Can we focus on that and see it? Maybe not. It says something. Yes. Pyre, Spain. Indeed. Okay, and then we got a handful of electrolytics here. Are these ECIs? And this one. Okay. As I understand it, some of these are, yeah, these 16 volt. Like this runs at 15 volts, and these are 16 volt rated capacitors that were never great to begin with, as I understand. And a lot of them need replacing. So maybe we'll do that, but let's just, for now, we're just going to note what they are. This is a 25 volt, 470 UF, and I will take measurements of that because I'm going to go review this later, buy a spare. Some might say these are notoriously not good in these DOD pedals at this point. 24.4 millimeters, 13.1 millimeters. Okay, and then next to it is a 16 volt 10 UF. I thought there was a, here's the 16 volt 15 UF. UF is microfarads, by the way, and it's not really a U. It just looks like a U. It's a funky M, I think. And then the rest of these, I think, are all 16 volt 10 or 16 volt 4.7 microfarad. Is that the case? Oh, there's a 16 volt 1 microfarad. Okay, so they're all 16 volt, and they are all 4.7 or 10 microfarad. Yeah. And then these black ones, 16 volt, 0.47 microfarads, 16 volt, 0.47 microfarads. And they're all tiny little guys. I will take a measurement just for the heck of it. They are 11.3 millimeters by 5.2 millimeters. Okay. What else is there to talk about? It's interesting that these two are socketed. Like sometimes chips get socketed, sometimes they don't. There's a couple rectifying diodes. I think on the schematic I saw it was a single package bridge rectifier 4-pin. So that's different. They're actually kind of both facing the same way. I don't know what the trace looks like underneath, but that's unexpected. I guess it just depends how they drew the trace. Maybe that's just fine. who makes these plastic jacks? I need to know for that other DOD pedal. And since these are very accessible, this one only has one wire and one nut. I'm going to pop it off and take a look, because that the 250, the overdrive preamp I have, it needs one of these, and I'm not sure who the manufacturer is, so it's a lot easier to take a look at this one than the one that's actually in the 250. And it'll say right there, let's see, is it Carling? Can we see that? I can't actually see it on the camera. Can you guys? It does say, is it Switchcraft? Oh man. I think you guys can probably see this, but I can't see it on the camera. So I'm gonna pop my glasses on here and take a look at it. The camera screen is very washed out because there's a light coming from above it, and it's on ProRes, so it just is washed out. Yeah, this is a Switchcraft. And that's a patent number on it, not a part number. Yeah, so I'll just try to find one of those Switchcrafts like that. Cool. Thanks for tolerating my unrelated checking on that. Let's see how the pots feel. I don't generally like to just go cleaning things willy-nilly, and these are, they're fairly accessible. Oh, somebody ought to make a curved straw for spray cans. I bet they do. What are those straws called for kids? I don't know if they still have them, but they would like go all over the place. Are they just called crazy straws? Silly straws? Silly straws seems like a better name for a product. Maybe they're called silly straws. Yeah, someone should make one that either you can like curve it, or it just has a built-in curve so that you can do something like get it under there and around the corner. Oh, so far these feel great. Oh, that one's a little grungy. Just this one. Do I want to blast it? Yeah, I do. Now, that one, it was the manual knob. Well, maybe I'm not going to do that. Let's give it a... I feel like I'm neglecting it if I don't. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. That's the name of the game here, is do things right, not do things fast. As anyone with pending orders with me likely knows. This is do things right world, not do things fast world. It's not do things cheap world either, just so you know. Man, I should have some background music. I guess if I were to be playing background music in the shop, it would sound kind of cruddy on the video. I could roll in a file and overlay it of some background music. Original stuff, of course, by somebody other than me, because nobody wants to hear me play any more guitar. Now I gotta take these both off. All right, gold stickers on the left. Everybody remember that and be sure to tell me. Okay, now we can get a nice view of the underside of this board. Well, it's not very nice, is it? But it does say DOD 670. It's got some beautiful hand-drawn traces there. Looks like it was an aluminum clad board rather than a copper clad board. Was it DOD? Some company in the Midwest. Oh, it was Ross. The story goes they were etching the circuit boards in an upstairs bathroom in the house where they were being made, and wrecked the plumbing in the house. The sulfuric acid is what they said they were using. Usually it's ferric chloride, but I don't know what they were using back in the 60s to do it. I'm going to just spray them, and then I'm going to put it back together and twist the knobs around with the actual knobs. Well, no, I won't do that. I'll try and do it a little bit here. Okay. My screwdrivers are becoming magnetic. I need to... Sometimes that's handy, but more often than not, it isn't. I need to find some quality screwdrivers that are made of stainless or something non-magnetic, so that can't happen anymore. I feel like one of these, that's the hardware for the in and out jacks. One of those lock washers is an original. That's probably a replacement. Or maybe not. They both do look old. They're just different. It's weird. Okay, gold dot was on this side, so was the black lock washer. And I'm going to fire up my multimeter here while I'm doing this, because we're going to take a nearly meaningless reading on those capacitors out of habit. Don't know why I do that. I know it's not going to say anything meaningful. Just like if it was like 3 farads or something, I'd be concerned. Yeah, I'm just watching it charge it up. It's charging up the capacitor with the voltage from the probes. I'm probably off camera. Meaningless. How about these little guys? Can we get a reading on those? No, I doubt it. And then this one, I think this is one that goes bad on people. 0.28 nanofarads. What is it supposed to be? 15? Yeah. Yeah. Nothing meaningful there. Okay. Shows a button at backup time. Yeah, it is. Maybe it went that way. Well, the other one goes this way. Like the logo is away from the plug, so I'm going to go with that. I think it fits either way. This way they're uniform. So there is also... Oh, I'm off camera. In this series of large pedals, there is also a equalizer, a graphic EQ. There is a chorus. Apparently it's very rare. I'm trying to get one. I don't know if there's a phaser, but I feel like you can't have a chorus and a flanger and not have a phaser, so I'm guessing there's a phaser. There's also a large box 250. Oh yeah, it's got a wobbly leg, I remember. Preamp overdrive, which I totally want. It looks so cool just to have, you know, that it's gray and yellow, and it's a box this size, and it's a 250 preamp, which is like 6 little components inside, and I totally want one. However, I can't find one. There's not even anything in the sold listings. Those things are rare. They do make another 250 preamp in a big box that goes by a different name, and it's got these slats milled into it, slots, I guess, and 2 little speakers behind it, and kickstand legs, so that you can set it up like that, and it sits up with kickstand legs, you know, like a deluxe reverb or something. I guess it's like a twin reverb because it's got 2 speakers. And it is a DOD 250 preamp with a transistor powered output amp section. So it's probably like a watt or 2.5 watt or something. Okay. Well, folks, let's fire this up on the Variac to see what kind of current draw it does, so we can bring it up a little bit safely. I call it a Variac, but it's a benchtop power supply I made that has an isolation transformer, a Variac, a ground lift, and then 2 different kinds of voltage and current monitoring devices. Okay. So 60, 70, 80 volts right now, and nothing 90 volts. Okay, right, because it's off, as it should. Now I'm gonna turn it on. You know the rule here. If you see smoke, you tell me, okay, and I'll stop. 18 volts, 28 volts, 35 volts, 46 volts, 50 volts, 60 volts, still no current, 69 volts, 75 volts, 80 volts. I see the light coming on. 0.01 amps. That's good. That's what we want to see, something like that. All right, all the way past 100 volts, and we're at 0.01 amps. So, okay. Feel pretty good about that. So we're going to bring up the Princeton Reverb now. Okay. Who wants to call the magic voltage of the evening? Pick a number between 100 and 120, Anybody. You over there with the funny mustache. What do you say? 114.8? You got it, sir. Now is the time on all my pedals that I realize I'm plugging this in, and I didn't tune my guitar before doing this. You're going to get what you get. And what I'm going to get is a sweet sip of iced desert coffee. You might notice our previous sponsor, Perrier, who was not actually a sponsor, just a favorite beverage of mine, is no longer, they ain't coming around anymore. And that's because I think I bought all of the ones in town and drank them, and there are no more. Apparently, I was the only one drinking them, and the stores are not interested in restocking. So I can't find any. Like, I could order them from out of town and end up paying like $2 to $3 a bottle. I probably will. But I'd rather someplace in town get them. They were less than $1 each. Okay. This is supposed to sound like that. See any trim pots in there. I can't imagine this is supposed to boost the output that much. I mean, it's kind of a distortion pedal at this point. hardly flanging, and it sounds really bad. It's just a big volume boost with a little bit of dirty flanging in the background, but not like a nice kind of dirt. Interesting. This sounds just awful. And then the bypass is normal. Okay, let me just check the output level. I'm going to plug the output straight into my guitar and see what happens. Yeah, so the bypass is totally straight. Sounds like it should. It's not true bypass, of course. There's a little more noise, but if I take the guitar down, it's still distorted. I have my suspicions about what might be wrong with it, but what I need to do is think about if I want to get into it or not. Yeah. You know, if I could try to fix it and end up with a certainly original and maybe working unit, or I could just buy that other one and return it. Might go that way. So, anyway, there we go. That is the initial inspection and testing. As you know, it doesn't always go right. And we've got a pretty good record here of nearly every vintage pedal that I bought off Reverb had something wrong with it. I mean, that Big Muff had a broken solder trace in the pot, and if I exasperated that by taking the board out and looking at it, well, okay, but that means it was in pretty poor shape to begin with, that my taking it off would cause it to just fail and crack entirely like that. The battery connection broke off. I think it was that one. The battery connection was broken off the Arion stereo chorus when I opened that up. The battery holder for the rat was flopping around loose inside and couldn't be held back on without taking it apart and retapping threads. The overdrive preamp had the battery clip missing entirely and had a replaced jack on it, which is no big deal, but yeah, just like all this stuff wrong with pedals. Pretty much all the EHX pedals, when you look at them, something breaks. So you kind of have to be a technician. It's a shame because, man, these two sure look good together, don't they? I mean, that's just a nice combination of pedals there. I don't know. I've got to think about what I want to do. I might contact the seller. We'll see. Alrighty. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of All My Pedals. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.